Hey, it's Ryan here with Real Broker, and I will go through the CREB 2025 forecast for Calgary. And I'll try to summarize this in just very basic terms, and I'll just go page by page and just briefly summarize it. And the first paragraph here is actually pretty good, so I'll just read that one out. So in 2025, housing demand is expected to remain above long-term trends, supported by past gains in population and employment. Easing lending rates, that definitely helps, and better supply options. Factors such as slowing migration from record highs, increased competition from new home construction, and heightened economic uncertainty are likely to limit further growth in resale activity. Uncertainty being the tariffs, that's a big news topic at the moment. Despite this, we are forecasted to have about 26,000 units sold, which is about 20% higher than long-term trends. So the market is supposed to be pretty good in Calgary for 2025. And this next blurb is just saying that the sales will be strong, but it won't be equally distributed. So for condos, the rental rates are decreasing in Calgary. There's less international migration, and we're seeing that impact the condo market. So the condo market might not be as strong as the detached sector. And I've noticed that the last 6 months, the condo market has been progressively getting a bit weaker compared to other sectors of the economy. And this next paragraph here, I think, is important. It just mentions that we are having a lot of brand new construction come onto the market in Calgary, which is helping the supply dilemma and helping to balance the market. So making it a bit easier for buyers. But there's still lots of demand, and buyers are snatching up the brand new properties. It's just helping to balance things. And in terms of price growth, it won't be as crazy as in 2024. Should be more moderate with the added supply. And if we look at the months of supply, so for 2022, it was 1.68, 2023 was 1.35, and last year was 1.59. This year, with the added supply from new builds, we're looking at around 3 months of supply. Now, that's still a very good market. It just won't be the red-hot seller's conditions from the past few years. And this next page is about risk. And what they're talking about here is that right now in Canada, all the news is about the pending U.S. tariffs on Canada, about 25%, which would destroy our economy. And this can definitely affect the housing market. I personally don't think this is going to happen, but who am I? I'm not a politician or an economist. I don't think it will happen, though, but who knows? If it does happen, you can definitely see all of Canada going into a recession, and that will probably lead to people listing their homes, cashing out, more inventory coming to the market, and entering buyer's market territory. That's probably the worst case scenario. Again, this is just a risk. It's not set in stone. This might not happen, but this is something to keep an eye on for sure. And let's briefly talk about the economic summary. So Alberta's energy sector continues to thrive, benefiting from higher energy prices, exchange rates, and increased production following the opening of the TMX pipeline. We're also big into energy, carbon capture, food manufacturing, and AI. But again, potential U.S. tariffs could shape what happens with our economy. The GDP growth is estimated to be about 2.5%. And for the price of oil, which again, it definitely has an impact on Alberta. Last year was about $77 a barrel on average. And this year is projected to be about $70 per barrel. And what can also help with the real estate market is the overnight target interest rates. So the target here for quarter one, 2.75%, quarter two, 2.25%, and then down to 2% for the third and fourth quarters. That sounds like logical. It seems like the government and the central bank have been trying to get these down for the last half year or so. So if they keep lowering them, that's good for the real estate market, obviously. And let's briefly talk about employment. So I get a lot of calls from people looking to relocate to Alberta, and they're always asking me how our economy is doing. And I find it's doing quite well. I haven't noticed any layoffs and stuff like that. Alberta seems to be just moving along quite well. The blurb here, looking ahead to 2025, employment levels are expected to grow by 2%, driven by gains in construction, retail, trade, healthcare, and education. And at the same time, easing migration is projected to slow labor force growth and prevent further increases in employment rates. So I think our economy in Alberta is doing pretty good still. And moving along to population. So this is a big one for Alberta the past few years. We've had record high international migration combined with a lot of interprovincial migration as well has been a key driver. And that's expected to continue. In the Calgary region, we saw around 5% population growth, which is, I think, is probably one of the biggest in the world. What to look out for, though, is federal immigration policies are expected to slow the pace of migration into Canada, and that could impact the whole country. But we are still seeing a lot of people from Ontario, BC are the biggest newcomers to Alberta. I get lots of calls every week. I get a few calls from people coming from Toronto and Vancouver and stuff like that. It's very prominent, and it should continue, and it just might not be as much as it was in the past few years with the government changing some of the policies. And in terms of new homes, I'm just going to read this blurb right here. I think this explains it perfectly. In 2025, increased housing supply from new homes is expected to ease pressure on resale home prices, even as new home starts slow and the market rebalances. So basically, we're in a booming economy and a lot of construction is happening. These projects are coming online and they're helping to ease the pressure of the seller's market conditions that we were in, and it's helping to balance the market. So basically, there's lots of new homes coming to the market in Calgary. They're all over the city, new neighborhoods, new homes. You got renovation projects all throughout the city, and this is helping to ease the pressure on home prices. In terms of rentals, now I don't do rentals, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but we have been in a bit of a rental crunch the past few years, and there wasn't that much to choose from. This is starting to change as new projects are coming online, and it looks like the rental rates are coming down a little bit. So if you are looking to rent, you might have more options, and it might not be as expensive as it used to be. And at the same time, international migration is slowing, so there's less demand. So that could help you out if you are looking to rent. Now, let's look at the detached sector specifically, and I'll just briefly summarize this. So in layman's terms, in 2025, homes that are priced above $600,000 will have more inventory to compete with. So as a buyer, this is a good thing. You'll have more homes to choose from. And homes under $600,000, the market will be a bit tighter. There won't be as many homes. So if you're a seller, that's good. If you're a buyer, that's not good. But overall, the market is shifting towards having more balanced conditions. It's just an easy way to put the detached sector. Now, the semi-detached sector, duplexes, they've really benefited the last couple of years as there wasn't much inventory in the detached sector and the prices were going up pretty fast. So a lot of buyers were pushed into the duplex sector, which has done well. This year, there should just be a little bit more supply, if I could summarize this real briefly. It should still be a good market, but there will be more inventory compared to last year. And the row townhouse sector, this has been a very hot market the past few years as people are looking for space, but also with affordability. And the townhouse was a good option for a lot of people. So we really had limited inventory as this market was just very popular. And that should continue this year. But there will be some gains in inventory along with everything else on the market. It should just be a bit more manageable going forward with more inventory. But still, this market is still very, very popular. Now let's talk about the apartment sector, which I find to be fascinating. The condo market in Calgary used to be atrocious. We had a year's worth of supply. Then it got red hot and we were down to 1 or 2 months of supply. It was booming. And then the last half of 2024, it really cooled off. And you saw expired listings, terminated listings, homes in the market for a long period of time. It really did an about face, and I think a lot of new builds came online, and there was just more inventory to choose from. And I also think the condo fees are just simply way too high, and people are just writing off condos as not worth it, in my opinion. But expect to see more balanced conditions in the new year and in this 2025 as more construction projects are finished. And it's still a good market. It's just not as crazy hot as it was in the last couple of years. And I'll just give you a snapshot for detached homes in the surrounding towns around Calgary. I'll start off in Canmore. $1.6 million is the benchmark price for a home in Canmore. Huge number. Airdrie, $642. Chestermere, big price, $796. I can't believe this. I grew up in Strathmore, and the homes used to cost like 200 to 300,000. Now they're at the average price 538, a crazy number. High River 558, Okotoks 693, and Cochrane at 664. And for Calgary itself, the benchmark price of a detached home is around 750 with 1.56 months of supply, which is still pretty strong seller's market conditions for a detached home. And I'll just briefly go through this summary projection here as the last point. So for total residential sales in Calgary, in 2022, there were 29,658, then 27,406, then 26,985 last year, and the projection this year is 26,850. So we're still expecting a very good market in 25, but maybe not as crazy as the last previous years. And I won't go through detached, semi-detached, row, or apartments. It's the same idea, is that we're expecting a good year. It just won't be as crazy as the last few years. And there you have it. That's my rundown of the Calgary Real Estate Board forecast. Any questions at all, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'm easy to get a hold of, and I would love to help you out. I'll see you on the next video.